Joseph. Here. Freeholder Gans.
Aye.
Freeholder Ortiz. Here. Freeholder Sullivan.
Here.
Freeholder Tonelli.
Here.
Freeholder Voss.
Here.
Chairwoman Zur.
Here. Evidence of a quorum is present. Can everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk please read the minutes to be accepted?
April 5th, 2017, public session. Freeholder Gans absent.
May I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
The minutes are unanimously approved, with one exception. I want to begin this evening by, first of all, acknowledging all of you in the audience and making a brief statement regarding the issue that has brought many of you from law enforcement here today. You are all going to be afforded the opportunity to speak in a few minutes when we open for public comment. And anyone who wishes to speak will have a 3-minute time limit. I will give the Local 49 President Weston some additional time, but I would ask that all the subsequent speakers please adhere to the time limit. Also, if you want to speak and you have not already submitted this form, please see Jared, who will give you this form so that we can make sure that we acknowledge you and give you the opportunity to be heard. As to the reasons why you're here today, I want to provide you with a little bit of information regarding what we as a Freeholder Board know, and also a little bit of history. At the time of the realignment, a blue ribbon panel comprised of law enforcement professionals, including local police chiefs, the prosecutor, and the sheriff, determined that through improved efficiency and elimination of duplication, the Bureau of Police Services would require 49 officers. From the onset, it was the intention of all the parties involved in the realignment, especially those freeholders who first drafted the framework that preserved your jobs, and those of us who stood in opposition to the plan that was put forth to completely dissolve the county police, that the Bureau of Police Services would be brought to its recommended staffing level of 49 officers through attrition. And that process has been working. We started with a force of 92, I believe, and today there are 76. In the process, through greater efficiencies, taxpayers have saved over $5.6 million while maintaining the safety and security of Bergen County's residents. As far back as last year's budget hearing with the Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Saudino informed the Freeholder Board of the potential need to hire additional sheriff's officers to fulfill 2 looming unfunded state mandates. He recently came back before the board and said that he would in fact need 35 additional sheriff's officers as a result of judicial security and bail reform. The sheriff's ability to add additional officers is constrained by the state mandated 2% budget cap, which beginning this year applies to all constitutional officers and not just the collective county budget. Additionally, legal counsel advised that New Jersey state law dictates that these court-related mandates must be handled by sworn sheriff's officers. Given these circumstances, the sheriff made strong financial and public safety arguments to bring the Bureau of Police Services to its recommended size faster than could be realized through attrition alone. However, despite the changing circumstances, we had made a commitment related to your jobs. The sheriff gave me his assurances that any Bureau of Police Services officer receiving notice of layoff would be afforded the opportunity to become a sworn Bergen County Sheriff's Officer. And should you join the Sheriff's Department, it would be at an equivalent step with PBA 49's contract, meaning that you would not have to start back at the bottom. This board remains committed to the preservation of jobs and the protection of the public while ensuring fiscal responsibility to the taxpayers of Bergen County. And I'm hopeful that the pursuit of a perfect ending doesn't get in the way of a good ending. As the sheriff said to me personally and publicly in the paper, Bureau officers have the opportunity to join his office if they choose to. To those 26 officers who are most impacted, I hope you will choose to continue to serve the people of Bergen County. And lastly, I see a lot of people in this room who professionally are dedicated to public service, and a lot of family members who support them and support all of us in the process. On behalf of the board, I want to say thank you. We may have different views on the sheriff's decision here, but that does not change our respect for your service and for all of our shared values. And with that, I would like to take a motion to open this meeting to the public.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The meeting is now open to the public. We will now have a hearing of the general public with a 3-minute time limit in effect in accordance with the Bergen County Freeholder bylaws. The board attorney will keep the time. When the time the speaker expires, please, he will announce that the time has in fact expired. Please fill out the slip of paper with your name, address, and general topic on which you wish to speak. Chris Weston.
Yes, my name is Chris Weston, last name W-E-S-T-O-N. I'm the PDA president of Local 49. First, let me say good evening, Freeholders. Thank you for showing your hospitality towards all our supporters of the Bureau of Police Services personnel and allowing me. My understanding is you're going to allow me a little bit more extra time, and I appreciate that. I will certainly try to keep it as quickly as I can. And I know that you guys have a little bit of anxiety about all of us being here, but I can assure you my intention here is not to attack you guys at all. My intention is to just try to get some information as well as provide you all with some information as well as to what's been going on within the Bureau of Police Services since the MOA occurred. First, let me give you a little bit of background. I'm a Bergen County Sheriff's Officer, Bureau of Police Services, law enforcement officer. I was with the County of Police for 11 years. Prior to that, I was with the Marine Corps for 5 years. I did 1 tour of duty for Iraqi freedom. I also was overseas for 7 months on a ship. And after that, I was afforded the opportunity to become a Bergen County police officer. And one of the reasons I took that position is because I'm born and raised in Bergen County, New Jersey. I also love the opportunities that the Bergen County Police Department afforded me. I became a SWAT officer. I was a firearms instructor. I was up at the range before this merger took place. Everything that I wanted, I got. And as you're all aware, as the chairwoman said, we are facing layoffs, 26 officers, for the hiring of 35 sheriff's officers. Again, promises were made to us, even by members of this board at the time that were on this board, that we would have not only jobs, but there would be no loss in pay, and nobody would get hurt. I give you my word. Those are the words that were presented to us at our PDA meeting. Now, the chairwoman went into a little bit that the MOA, the point of the MOA was to get rid of redundancies within the 2 agencies. I'm here to tell you today that there is a redundancy within the Sheriff's Department itself right now. There are 2 patrol divisions. Essentially, you have the Homeland Security Division, which is essentially, they perform patrol functions. They do motor vehicle stops, they check parks, they check county facilities, they respond to medical aid calls, just as Bureau of Police Service personnel do. We do the exact same thing. Now, tomorrow, you could have the mandated officers from the Homeland Security Department, which are essentially 30 to 35 sheriff's officers, in the courthouse, mandate done, all security is the way it's supposed to be as per the assignment judge. And then the Bureau of Police Service officers, who are the former county police officers, could continue to do patrol functions just as we normally did. Now, I know there was a presentation that was put together by the sheriff that indicated when the consolidation plan was supposed to move forward, that was his intention for the Bureau of Police Services personnel, to put us in the Homeland Security Division so that we can continue to do those patrol functions as well as serve warrants and writs like any other police officer can, and I have done it in the past myself. Now, since there is that redundancy, you don't need to hire. You don't need to add 35 officers to his rank. Now, in the layoff plan, it says, it references 35 sheriff's officers for 1 year. That's all it says. It doesn't go into how the step increases go for those sheriff's officers after their first year, which is 9 steps. It doesn't go into if these officers decide to have families, what the county is going to incur as far as health care costs. Our officers can perform those functions with no more hiring. You already know who we are, you already know what we are. As far as the assurances that this board has been given by the sheriff that we will have jobs, I have yet to see anything in writing. And that's because I have not sat down with the sheriff or the county executive. I was not afforded that opportunity. Me and my PDA executive board members have been requesting meetings with the sheriff. We have not been afforded that opportunity. I'm happy that he's speaking to the board, but I wish he would speak to the ones who are facing layoffs. And just to go a little bit further into some of the officers that are going to be laid off, you're talking about seven medical examiner officers, 2 certified bomb technicians, 2 traffic safety officers, 3 SWAT operators, 2 criminal investigators, 2 canine officers. This is a tremendous amount of training that these officers have. Just for a bomb tech alone, tremendous amount of training. Okay? You cannot replace these officers overnight. It's not going to happen. And in order to replace these officers, what the sheriff is going to need to do is he's going to need to take these sheriff's officers out of the courthouse, which is where they're supposed to be as per the mandate and the layoff plan, and put them in these positions. Now, to me, that is a little bit counterproductive. Now, he's going to have to remove these sheriff's officers out of the court to cover these positions, as well as OEM and the academy, which we currently have officers at. He's going to take them out, and now he's going to have to hire more officers to replace those officers to continue the mandate. I'm here to tell you that doesn't need to happen because we can backfill those officers right now from the Homeland Security Division. All of us up. And again, let's not forget that the officers that are facing not only demotions and layoffs, there are 23 of the 37 officers affected by this are veterans of foreign wars. Now this board, and I applaud you for it, this board has touted your record for the treatment of veterans in this county. And you have. No veteran no longer homeless. Wonderful job. Laying off these officers or hurting these officers is not a reflection of this board of that hard work. Now, again, to take these officers, if you do take these 26 officers off the road, with all the experience that they have, me and myself, I have 11 years. I was 4 to 5 years in patrol. Ever since then, I was in the Detective Bureau. To take those officers off the road with an opiate epidemic, a rash of active shooter incidents currently going on in communities throughout this country, and threats against law enforcement, in my opinion, it's going to be a detriment to the county. And the MOA was supposed to enhance law enforcement in this county, not take away from it. Again, we believe that we can perform these functions of court security. Sheriff's officers and police officers currently attend the same academy. Once they are certified from the police academy by the New Jersey Police Training Commission, we are all certified as police officers. There is a section in Title 4A right now that says any county that has an established county police force, the sheriff is allowed to hire Special Twos to put them in the courthouse. Now, again, I'm not for any of our officers losing their jobs, so I'm not going to recommend that. But a police officer is certainly more experienced and more trained than a Special 2 officer. Now, all that needs to happen is that the assignment judge has to agree to that. Now, one of the questions I'll ask the board, and of course you don't have to answer, I just want you to think about this, is was it brought up to the assignment judge that a police officer can do that job in the courthouse and secure that mandate without any loss of service? We believe that we are facing these hardships because of the contract that we have. And we as a union, PBA 49 has a track record of working with the County of Bergen. We have always come to a fair and reasonable solution for all involved. For us, for the board, for the citizens of Bergen County, for the sheriff and the county executive. We've always worked with the administration. But no one has come to us, and no one will sit down with us. We were simply given an ultimatum: take a pay decrease, or we are going to lay you off for cheaper workers. And because of this tactic, we have gone through litigation. We have lawsuits moving. We don't want to do that. We understand it's an expense to the taxpayers as well as us. Just a couple more minutes, less than that. We are not unreasonable and we are not greedy. We are not hard to work with, and we are certainly not terrorists. We would just like to see the county elected officials who have made this promise to us live up to those promises. No layoffs and no loss of pay. These are the promises that are made to us. When the MOA was signed and effectuated, we did not protest, even though we were well aware that we could no longer be promoted. And no county police officer through the MOA can be promoted. My career is dead. I am a police officer, that's as far as I can go. And I was okay with that. I was willing to accept that because we saw the greater good. And we did that because we were given assurances by our leaders. Now, I read in NorthJersey.com that Mr. Tedesco was assured by the sheriff, as you just said. Again, I have not seen that in writing. And one of the things that I want you to think about is we are employees of the Bergen County Sheriff. We are not a different agency. I wear the same badge, the same uniform. I drive a sheriff's car. I have the same firearm. I follow the sheriff's policies and procedures. I am a county sheriff employee. And when the sheriff decides to downsize the number of officers he has within the Bureau of Criminal Identification, BCI, do those sworn officers have to get laid off or demoted? No. He utilizes them in another division within his department. So why do the officers of the Bureau of Police Services within the Sheriff's Department have to lose their jobs or get demoted when he has to downsize that particular division? And the only thing I can think of is our contract. That's it. But again, we are willing to sit down and talk with anybody who are willing to talk to us, but nobody is. I have seen the layoff plan, and in it there is language that talks about how much cheaper it would be to have 35 officers. And as I have said before, that does not take into account the next 9 steps that those officers have to go through. I would like to thank the Freeholders for their time and their hospitality at this meeting. I hope that I was able to inform you of some of the issues that we're having with this. Again, we are Bureau of Police Services personnel within the Sheriff's Department. We can provide all the functions that a Homeland Security officer can do, and then they can go into the courthouse, no loss of service, no hiring. And just one last thing that I will leave you with. Wouldn't you want a more experienced officer providing security in the Superior Court as opposed to a new hire fresh out of the academy who is still learning his job? A lot of these officers behind you, as I said before, they're SWAT, bomb, crisis negotiation. Some of us, like myself, have executive protection training. Wouldn't you want that in the Superior Court, especially what happened the other day where the courthouse needed to be evacuated for a bomb scare? Wouldn't it make sense to have these officers already in the courthouse to deal with that situation? To me, it would make sense to have a more experienced officer. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, thank you very much for your hospitality. I appreciate you for taking the time.
Yes, good evening, Chairwoman Tracy Stewart. Freeholder David Gantz, who is the liaison freeholder for the African American Advisory Committee and Freeholders. I am fully aware that the Freeholders, that legislative policy that is carried out by our county executive, who runs the day-to-day activities for the county. Actually, he appointed the members to the African American Advisory Committee. So I come before you this evening as the chairman of the African American Advisory Committee. I come also here as an 85-year-old resident of Bergen County, a 7th generation family, which means I was here at the Revolutionary War. My family has deep roots here in this county. I stand here with Native American blood running through my veins, and also includes Asian, as you may know. African blood and as a result of slavery, some European flooding. I'm as diversified as you can be. And as a result of that, I appreciate and advocate for a better life for all residents of Bergen County. Now, the African American community has been celebrating Juneteenth in the old and now in the new Overpeck Park for the last 7 years, under County Executive McNerney, Donovan, and now under Tedesco. Your committee has created and has been trying to get an answer to the question whether or not we can celebrate Juneteenth in the new Overpeck Park, using the band shell, the land in front of the band shell, as we have in the past. We also wanted to know if the county, with the assistance of the African American Advisory Committee and the Juneteenth Committee that comes out of the community, wishes to continue to celebrate Juneteenth. We all volunteer our services, and most of us make personal financial contribution to its expenses. We requested back in October 2016 for a meeting with the park director. We never got this meeting. We were told we had to go through the employee of the county who sat in on our monthly committee meetings. Van Zon Park was mentioned to us as a possible site. We advised its intermediary that this was not suitable to the kind of celebration that we have. Overpeck Park is closer to the centers of African American communities in Hackensack, Teaneck, and Inglewood, going up to Van Zon and Paramus, whose lands are not suited for the purposes that we have. Now, we have not received the courtesy of a reply, direct or otherwise. We have been completely ignored by our county park director. Now, you know our new county park director's last job was at the Director of the Department of Public Works in the city of Inglewood. Because of his treatment of the employees who were mostly minorities, I'm informed he has 2 lawsuits now pending against him. His philosophy is, like our current United States President, lacking in appreciation and failure to include rich diversity and culture that exists here in our county.
It's 3 minutes.
And he uses, may I have somebody give me their 3 minutes, please? May I proceed? Remember, I am the advisory committee that you created, okay? I'm not speaking as a sole person. Now, our park director does not understand, nor does he care about our culture and that of other groups. He does not understand the importance of Juneteenth to the African American community, a celebration recognized by our federal government and our state of New Jersey. It is part of our legislative history. And Senator Byron Bear, whose name I heard mentioned tonight, is the one who introduced that legislation. And he used to be a former legislative aide to me when I was in the Assembly. Yes, Juneteenth celebration is 152 years old in the American community. In 1865, when the Union troops went into Texas to protect the southern border, slaves were informed that the Emancipation Proclamation had freed them, that the war was over, and that they were free. A great celebration was had as a result of that. And we continue the celebration as an opportunity to share our culture and our history with the general population. The unity of Bergen County's diverse population is a healthy thing for this county. A historic footnote. The 22nd Regiment of the United States Public Troops that were part of the Union Army that went into Texas were residents of Bergen County. We have a rich history here in Bergen County, which our current park director has no appreciation. Juneteenth celebration last year was a disaster because we were pushed off of the green that we had celebrated for the last several more years. We were pushed up to the sidewalk. Our food vendors were pushed into the parking lot. Yes, it was a disaster because of the celebration was separated in 2 parts, okay? 2 different separate parts. Now, your African American Advisory Committee and its Juneteenth Celebration Committee request the use of new Overpeck Park as before. The use of the band shell, the land in front of the band shell, the opportunity to place on the ground immediately in front of the band shell, our little pop-up tents where our community organizations, sororities, fraternities, our 501c3 organizations, our supporting businesses, the Bergen County NAACP, the Bergen County Urban League, and Bergen Community College. That the latter has a prominent presence in that event. It also supplies tables and chairs for us. This celebration gives an opportunity for students of Bergen Community College to demonstrate their scholarship to our young and diverse high school students. We also would like the county to supply, as it does in the past, 2 vans to take people to the Bergen County Historic Yosemite Park, one to Martin Luther King Monument in Hackensack, also to continue to supply security. By the way, for 7 years, we've not had one incident of disturbance at our celebration. Also, to supply 2 large tents for our exhibit. All of this we would appreciate. It is too late for us to have this celebration this year. And it moves me very much that we are missing this year. But we request that you set aside the 3rd Saturday in June of 2018 for this Juneteenth celebration in Overpeck Park, and every year thereafter. This policy, if you would create it, would hold the Director of Parks responsible for its implementation. Another footnote. Governing bodies that receive Green Acre funds to develop parks cannot commercialize them to the detriment of the general population and its diverse population. One little footnote also is that tomorrow night, the Bergen County Historic Preservation Committee for this body is making presentations of awards that you have authorized. And one of the awards was given to a young scout in Upper Saddle River because he helped restore a slave cemetery here in Bergen County. That's what I mean about diversity, coming together as a unity that's healthy for this country. Thank you very much for the extension.
What's your first name, Mr. Brown?
Arnold T.
Thank you.
Brown.
Bill Thompson.
Last name is spelled Thomson. Madam Chairwoman, Freeholders. My name is Bill Thompson. I am a past county commander for the Veterans of Foreign Wars here in Bergen County. I'm a past state commander for the state of New Jersey. Currently the state legislative director for the Veterans of Foreign Wars. And I'm also a member of our national legislative team. Over 300 years a day, I am out lobbying or fighting for veterans for their benefits and their rights. I'm pleased to report that in Trenton and in Washington, D.C., our legislators get it. That if there is something that needs to be done for veterans, they make every effort to take care of them. I was made aware last Wednesday evening about the layoffs, and I immediately said that I would be here tonight for those veterans who are part of your Bergen County Police Office. I don't know if you understand. I think Mr. Gans understands. I'm not even sure that some of our veterans understand. These men who served as veterans in the Iraq, Afghan theaters, they represent 3%, 0.3% of the total population of America. And they committed themselves to take care of this country, your freedom, as well as mine. And I have said repeatedly in my testimonies that the other 99.7%, we owe them. We don't owe them a layoff. We owe them a job. In my testimonies in Trenton, the people on both sides of the aisle, they got it. They committed to helmets to hard hats, a program that would take veterans in a transition period and put them to work. In Washington, D.C., they get it. The first people to get hired are veterans. But you have veterans here of the armed services that you want to either demote or lay off. One of them is on his way to Iraq right now. Nice send-off, President. In the Bergen of Bergen County, I didn't save the newspaper clippings, but I have pretty good memory. And all of the discussions, and especially from Sheriff Saldina, was that if we did this merger, we were going to save millions of dollars, and nobody was going to lose a job. For whatever, I'm sorry?
That's 3 minutes.
Let me just finish then with this, okay? You took my applause and took my time.
Let the platform.
That's okay. I appreciate it. Let me just say this. As somebody who has been in this theater on this side of the podium fighting for veterans, our victories don't come in one night. They don't come in a week. They don't come in a month. I'm going to come back, and I'm going to come back, and I'm going to come back. This board lives up to the promises that you and Sheriff Saldina and the county executive made to our police officers. Thank you.
Spell your name for me, please.
Casiello. Madam Chairwoman, members of the board, I'm a Vietnam veteran. I served during that war period, and I'm here not only to support our veterans that are facing a layoff, but also law enforcement in general. I did write a prepared statement, which I'm happy I did because my time I know is limited. And I'll just do that, and then if I may have time to ask a couple of questions. Tonight we are here to express our concerns to the Freeholder Board on the proposed layoffs and demotions of officers under the Bureau of Police Services. Let me first start out by saying I felt it was a bad idea to have two separate police departments after they were merged or realigned, whatever you want to call it. To me, I think this only created animosity within the two groups and gave an appearance that one unit is better than the other. Both are sworn officers with the same basic training, and both have sworn to serve and protect. I'd like to find out, I know the chairwoman mentioned that we did have some savings of about $5 million in the Sheriff's Department. Perhaps we could find a way to use that money to keep everybody's job. As a taxpayer, our I'm probably not going to see that $5 million. My taxes go up anyway. So I think we can maybe put that to good use. And I know the sheriff also touts savings that he's done within his own department. And perhaps we can sit down, and I'm very disturbed that the sheriff and the county executive haven't approached the PBA and sat down and discussed this. The only way you're going to solve this problem is by discussion, not by laying off people. The one question I have, which I'd like to find out, are there any lawsuits pending at the moment between the PBA and the sheriff and the county, or have they all been resolved?
Pending.
Sorry?
They are pending.
Pending? Are you at liberty to say what the lawsuit is?
Mr. Cassiello, in public meetings, I will always counsel the freeholders not to speak about certain things, personnel issues, contract issues, and matters that are in litigation. I've already counseled all the freeholders not to speak on any of these issues tonight. So, although your question is a sincere one, you're not able to respond.
I understand. Well, anyway, again, like I started out saying, I'm not here to support the Bergen County Sheriff or the Bergen County Police or the Bureau of Police. I'm here to support law enforcement. And as a taxpayer and a veteran, I feel veterans deserve a special preference, as Bill Thompson had mentioned. And they served our country, and it's time for us to serve them. And I appreciate it.
Tyler, Tyler, resident of Pocahontas. I grew up in Rutherford. I've been here forever. I voted for a couple of you folks. And the reason I'm here tonight is I'm a little concerned about this decision. First of all, you didn't even hear about it until all these signs came onto the press. That was kind of concerning. That was sort of last minute or maybe. But my problem here is, first of all, the step thing. You're talking about they'll be hired off at the same step level they're in right now, but that's major dollar differences. And as a taxpayer and a homeowner and a parent, I couldn't afford to make a lateral step over to another pay level. I'm supporting my family in this county, and so are they. Second of all, I was raised that your word is your bond. And when I was raised that your word is your bond. And I voted for some of you, and I wasn't happy with this merger, but I said, these guys are pretty good at this stuff. I'm going to agree with them. I'm going to go with this and just trust in their educated decisions. You gave your word. There's got to be another way to do this besides laying people off. And I also tell you, as a member of the emergency services in my municipality and a county emergency services, there is so much training of these officers in emergent situations, OEM, the SWAT teams, and as an emergency service person, I've worked with some of these people in these situations, and I've been to training with these people. They have such extensive training, I can't even imagine the thought that you take 30, 35 of them out of the system and bring in new recruits. We've paid as taxpayers for years of training. As taxpayers, we've invested in their training. You can't get that overnight. You can't teach it from a book. You have to be out there experiencing it with them every day. I've been to storms, hurricanes, Sandy, Floyd, all those 500-year storms. I should be 1,000 years old, and they were there with us. Every step of the way, 24 hours a day, for days at a time. No new recruit is going to know what to do in those circumstances. And I'm sorry, I agree with a lot of things you guys do. And I voted for the sheriff, but right now I'm very disappointed. And I want you to stick to your word. Integrity is an important word. It's in every one of the political flyers that are stuffed in my mailbox every year from every one of you. Integrity is what we're asking. Stick with your game plan, find another means, have the sheriff meet with the PBA, but there's got to be another plan. You can't buy the experience these guys bring to the job, and we can't afford to lose any of it. Thank you.
board. I shall spend a couple of seconds explaining to those that are seated behind me as to what Juneteenth is. Juneteenth is the actual date of the end of slavery. Slavery ended 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. That is in a nutshell why we celebrate Juneteenth. It is quite obvious that I am African American. I am a citizen and a resident of Bergen County. And with Bergen County being one of the largest slave encampments through the state of New Jersey, I am somewhat disturbed that in my own county where I pay taxes, where I work, the county that I try to keep beautiful by picking up garbage at times, will not allow me to honor my heritage. We say we are diverse. We need to really take a look at our history. I would ask if you would please respond to the African chair, Arnold Brown, with a swift response as to what happened. On June 20th, we should have been celebrating Juneteenth 2017 as we have many years in the past. Me personally, I am appalled. I truly am. Thank you.
Bergen.
P-E-R-K-I-N-S. For the last 3 years, I've had the privilege of working with these wonderful people, sharing Juneteenth with them. What I've been teaching is genealogy. The class that I've given is called I Can Get You Back to 1870. People are like, why did you pick 1870? Well, 1870 is the best year a lot of us can do. I get the opportunity to show people that they have a history. You should see people's faces light up when they come to me years later and say, I did the work. And thank you. I'm so disappointed that we're not having Juneteenth this year. I wish I could be able to share this with more people. We've been giving of ourselves. We don't get paid for this. We provide posters. We spend countless hours spending time at people's houses so we can provide history lessons to children, things they're not being taught in school. People need to know their history. It's a source of pride, and I'm very appalled that we're not having Juneteenth this year. Thank you.
Crystal Brown, you had indicated you were giving up your time, but I wanted
my
to...
time.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you. I just wanted to clarify. Okay. Mr. Shukla.
My last name is Shukla, S-H-U-K-L-A. Dear Chairwoman and a member of Freeholders, I'm here to talk about the Senior Advisory Council. Senior Advisory Council is mandated by the Older American Act, and the funding for all the Senior Advisory Council and senior services comes from the Older American Act. County does not have to pay a single penny. What we are having a problem right now is having enough members to be approved by the county so that we can have different committees. We have enough members to support our activities. We do a lot of community services, and as Ms. Watson and Ms. Zerk, they know about it. And we have members from all different various communities. Some are doctors, some are lawyers, some are teachers. So we do a lot of work free of charge without taking any money. What we are asking for is please approve the membership. We have pending membership for a long time and they haven't approved it, and we can't function without the members. So all I'm asking is please look into this and have something, going on to this side. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shukla. Bill Brennan.
Good evening. Sorry to see you on such an occasion. Again. If you look around this room, there's evidence in front of you. Evidence of something that you should be very, very mindful of. This room is filled with evidence of a failure in leadership. What we have here is evidence of a lack of moral integrity. What we have here is evidence of a group of people and at least one individual who calls himself Sheriff of Bergen County of pure, unadulterated dishonesty. We all know that the merger that occurred was made with promises. One of the promises was substantial savings for the law enforcement services in the county of Bergen. Millions. Mr. Tompkins said $5 million. So you saved $5 million. Well, you guys also approved a contract before that happened. This board. What is the point of having a contract if you don't have to keep it? And they're not even saying they want to hold that contract. But now, here and now, I picked up on something that was said by the sheriff that is patently false. Just an out-and-out lie. He is claiming that this 2% cap is requiring him to lay off people that didn't work for him a few years ago. So I ask you, what would happen if the merger hadn't taken place? Would the courts go without security? Would this emergency that he's claiming exists that requires such a drastic impact on the members of the Bergen County Sheriff's Department, would that just close down the courthouses and release prisoners? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think it's an out-and-out lie. And when you have a lack of integrity and a lack of leadership, because one of the jobs of a leader, especially in a paramilitary organization, is to create a cohesive environment. A esprit de corps, a camaraderie among the brothers and sisters of the agency. And you know what he's doing? Exactly the opposite of that. He is unfit to serve in the capacity of sheriff of Bergen County. Unfit. And he jumped the fence. He's a fence jumper. He was a Republican when all this started, and now he's welcomed with open arms by my party. Well, I don't want him. If this is his idea of leadership, if this is his idea of what being a Democrat is, he could go somewhere else. Because I don't believe that Democrats act this way. I believe Democrats are the party of labor. So, Mr. Sullivan, you're with the IBEW. You know what a contract means. You got members who rely on you. Are you going to sit and tolerate this from somebody who represents the county of Bergen and somebody who represents a Democratic Party? Is this what we are reduced to? The party of liars? The party of union busters? The party of divisiveness? We don't need this. This is Bergen County, New Jersey. This isn't Camden County. This isn't Atlantic City. This is a wealthy community. A wealthy area. And we deserve the best law enforcement services that money can buy. And we had them until Sheriff Sordino started dividing and conquering his members. And that's enough is enough. And if you don't call him out for his leadership failure, then you are failed leaders in this community. And this is going to be a long, long battle. But you can cut it short. You can cut it short right here and now. You can direct your fellow Democrat. You can direct your fellow leader of this community. You can tell him to go back to the negotiating table, to go back to the union president, and sit down like a man and discuss the facts, instead of hiding behind press releases and claiming he's being ambushed, and that's why he's not going to sit down and negotiate. Because if he's afraid of the union president, he's not fit to be my sheriff. Thank you.
Callahan, Callahan, but I'm also a Leddy, Leddy, born and raised here, and I'm ready to talk. I think that this is nothing short of bossism, on the highest level. And it is a slippery slope that I've had the misfortune of being a part of, me, myself, being bossed, and a terrible encounter with the sheriff, Sordino, me, myself. And then I would get messages from other people, through other people from the sheriff, that I gotta move. I gotta move out of New Jersey. I gotta take my practice elsewhere because I file internal affairs complaints. You have no idea where I've been and what I've seen. And I'm not equating my experience directly to these good officers, but it's all cut from the same cloth. And it should not be. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Rob Williamson?
First, let me just say, it's nice to see David back up there. Always looking, David, thank you for your service, and it's good to see you well. That being said, I'm not that happy to be here to see the rest of you. I should be home with my family. Instead, I'm here because of an absolute travesty that you guys are just doing. This is a disgrace. And I will tell you that when I sat on this board, one of the things that I knew always that everyone could take to the bank was my word. Never once was there anything that I ever said up here that you could go back on, that anyone could come back afterwards. Guidepost study came in, said there was no savings in this. The only way there would be a duplication of services with the K-9 unit, which is what the sheriff had already instituted, a K-9 unit on that side. There was already a K-9 unit. There was the only duplication of services that they claimed that there was, and that there would be no savings. So here we are, and you're claiming a $5 million savings, Chairwoman. But what about the other $30 million that you spent so far in the county? You know what, you can claim $5 million somewhere, but when you're raising taxes everywhere else, it doesn't equate. Don't try to give us a savings. You also claim to be you took my seat as the chair of Law and Public Safety. What a disgrace. Safety means safety. Do you actually believe that by your doing tonight is going to have, that the safety in this county is going to be protected? Are you out of your mind? You also talked about a pay cut, that they should just come in and go over to the other side to the Sheriff's Department. Are any of you up here willing to take a 30% pay cut? When I sat in your seat, I did take a 25% pay cut because I made a promise to the people that I was here for them. What's your promise? What promise did you make? So far, you've broken every one. You lied to these men and women. You were told that there would be no reduction in their office. None. No reduction in salary, no reduction in workforce. So all of a sudden, you're up for re-election. The county executive is going to be up next year. There is no savings, so you're going to force one. I disagree. I'm sorry. This is absolutely wrong of what you're doing. You have a right. You have the right as this board to do this and to change this decision. The bottom line is, last time when we had this meeting, they were looking this. The union was here, taking a look to see when this was going to be on the agenda. And like typical fashion of when we were sitting on the board in the minority, you guys put this in 5 minutes before the meeting so that nobody can show up. You also told us that, right now, that you had about savings. Well, if you need help on how to do savings, I know how we had 2 units, the Bergen County Police and the Sheriff's Department. We did not reduce one person in that force, and we gave a 0% tax increase. If you need help on how to do the budget, I'll help you. This is a meeting for the people, not a meeting for you. I'm not done. I'm not done.
Thank you very much.
Right now, you talked about per diem, about saving money. It's not about saving, this is not about saving money. Because if this was about saving money, there would be a different way of doing this. You would sit down with the unions and you would do the right thing here by the people. This is not about this. This is about retaliation. Why is there no other sheriff's officers being reduced here? Why are none of they are? Why is it strictly for the people here who are in the county police? Is basically what you need is the size of the paycheck. Size of the paycheck is what's going on. Okay? I'm almost done. No, I'm not done. No, I'm not. No. This is my meeting, not yours. This is a taxpayer's meeting. Yes, it is. This is a taxpayer's meeting, not yours. Okay, you just preside over it. This is a meeting for the people. Last time I checked, there are plenty of people here. Okay. In Mawa, I was at a meeting at a parade that you came up to the year I lost, and you looked at me in my eyes and said to me, the only reason why you're upset about the police merger is you couldn't get it done. And I said to you there would be no savings. The only way there would be a savings is if you decided to lay off people. And you told me that was not going to happen. Well, guess what, Ms. Zor? You're sitting here right now, and you lied to me that day, and you lied to the people again. The only way you're making your savings is on these people's backs. You should be ashamed.
Elizabeth Crum. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
My name is Elizabeth Crum. I was born and raised in this county, and I raised my child in this county. I've always felt very safe and protected here. I too was on EMS for many years. I haven't been on for probably 30 years now, but I worked closely with police officers at that time. And maybe that's why this is so dear to my heart. I really value the police protection that we have in this county, and I think it is a travesty that you have broken the promise that you made to the police. I have been a registered Democrat for many years, but now I have to rethink that when the next election comes along. I will remember each and every name on this board, and depending on the outcome of this, it will affect my vote in the future. I think that to replace seasoned police officers, as has been said by other people, with new recruits is a strong misjudgment by the sheriff. I think the county is going to suffer, and as a citizen and a voter, I don't like this at all. So again, I've reiterated a lot of what other people have said. I want my voice heard by each and every one of you on this board. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. David, I echo Freeholder Herman's sentiments. Good to see you again. Well, Madam Chairwoman, these are the tough nights. I've had my share when I sat in that Senate chair. These are the nights where you really earn your salary, that's for sure. But what I'd like to do is yield the rest of my time to former Freeholder Rob Hermanson. Rob, come on down.
He's had his time.
Okay.
I have a different topic I'm going to talk about in a second.
You don't have, you had your.
So in the code, it doesn't say anything about yielding time?
No.
In the code, it says that, the code, it says there's a time limit?
Yes.
Has the code changed since 2012?
No.
It has changed in 2012?
She just gave her time.
Because I'll tell you right now, when I was chairman, I let the public speak.
And we are happy to hear
And
every
my
single
predecessor let the public speak as long as they wanted to. Jimmy Carroll let people speak as long as they wanted to. I let people speak as long as they wanted to. So.
You are welcome to speak, Mr. Driscoll.
I want to yield my time to Freeholder Hermanson. He's
That's
not
not
topic he
part of
wants
the
to talk
rules,
about.
but thank you.
Okay, thank you. This is an embarrassment as former Freeholder Chairman. What's going on?
We made accommodations, and as I said in my opening statement, we are giving additional time to the PBA president because we wanted to make sure that his perspective was completely heard, and we knew and we understand that all of you have the right to speak. But we have rules, and the rules indicate that there's a 3-minute limitation to speech.
But also, I just want to let you know for the record, in the past, former freeholders are given latitude on their time.
That's correct.
And he has what Mr. Herman said, as he spoke for an extra minute and a half. If there are any other speakers who have formal...
Fly a kite.
We are very happy
to get all one party off.
Can I have a motion to close public?
Before you close the public meeting, I think you should talk about the rules in their entirety, because the rules in their entirety say, at the discretion of the chair, additional time can be granted. So you have a room full of people who are asking you to exercise the discretion in an effort to hear the marketplace of ideas, which is the bedrock of American principles, and you are shutting us down. You don't want to hear it, and that's not your job. And it's your job to hear from the people that are here to speak. You do it twice a month. 3 hours a month is not enough time for you to hear what's going on in your community. Now, you have the discretion to let that man speak, and you should exercise that discretion.
And you've had your time to speak as well. Can I have a motion to close the meeting to the public at this point?
Wait. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may, this is not what we're here for. We are not here for this, okay? We're not here to yell at them. We're not here to attack them, and I gave them my word I wouldn't do that. So please, let's respect, they still have a meeting to move on, okay? I understand everybody's angry, but we're not here for this, and this will not help us.
If there are any other speakers who wish to speak and put forward their forms, I'd be happy to accept them at this point in time.
I have a
Is there
separate
anyone
topic
else who
that's
wishes-
affecting my town
is there-
personally.
That would have been
Excuse
wonderful
me?
for you to address, Mr. Edmondson. Is there anyone else who wishes to
I didn't
speak?
grandstand.
Sure you did.
No, I didn't. There's no reason to have two different
Is there
topics. I was
anyone
coming
else
down
who
here for
wishes
one
to
other
fill out a
one.
form to speak?
Well, when are you going to give me my Oprahs?
Let the lady
Is there
speak.
anyone else?
19 days ago. I put in.
There's a speaker at the podium, Mr. Hermanson. Please show some courtesy.
Thank you. Your name for the record.
My name is Joanne Pearson, Pearson. I live in Hackensack, Joann. I live in Hackensack. I work with the Juneteenth committee. And when I heard Mr. Arnold say that he had put in a request back in October 2016 and he got no reply, that you should be ashamed, those of you that sit on the board, because we are a people and we say that we are diverse, and I am really hurt and upset and disappointed that we're not able to have our Juneteenth celebration this year as we have had in the past. We've never had an incident. There's never been a problem in the park. So what you're saying to us, that the park commissioner is saying, that if we are an irrelevant people, because if you had any courtesy and any respect for Arnold Brown, he would have gotten a reply back from the park director and from our county exec. So if you are happy with the way that you have done things, then you're really sad. Because what you have done is that you have told us as a black people that we're not important. Right. Now you can shake your head and say that's not true. But somebody should have gotten back to Mr. Brown in reference to Juneteenth, something that we have been doing that is a part of our culture. We are the only people in this country that did not come here because we wanted to. Amen. We came here because we were brought here. And that's why you should never overlook who we are, because we are somebody. And I'm proud to be black, but I'm disappointed in this county that we will not be celebrating Juneteenth on this year. God bless you.
All in favor of motion to close for public comment? Aye. All opposed? We now are closed for public comment. County Administrator, do you wish to comment regarding the issue of Juneteenth?
With regard to Juneteenth, I had a conversation with members of the administration and also the Parks Director today. and I have sat and met with Dr. Brown on a number of occasions since 2015, and I'm equally disappointed that the celebration won't be happening this year. And I understand that with regard to last year's celebration, that the committee did have some issue with regard to the new rule that was imposed in terms of the use of the land that appears right in front of the band shell. And I know that's with the circumstances under which Juneteenth was held last year. It was my understanding that the date was actually already booked and was reserved for this year. And I understand, Dr. Brown, that there were some concerns now with regard to those accommodations. And I was not aware that there was actually, to this point, a refusal or reluctance to want to hold the event because of the same arrangements from last year. With regard to your request and the list of items that you have identified today, I know that those items are not an issue at all. And with regard to planning for 2018, I can see to it that that meeting with the Parks Director happens as soon as possible to plan for 2018. So we would have a lot more time to discuss the issue of that, of the use with regard to the land in front of the band stage. And I know with regard to all of those items, with the exception of that item, which was covered by the Parks rule change as far as the use of that property, everything else on that list I know wouldn't be an issue at all with regard to that. So I invite the opportunity to have the conversation about 2018, and I'm equally disappointed that it's not going to happen this year.
And to that point as well, Mr. Brown, if there was an issue also, you know where we all are, as do all of you. And if there was a concern in the future, or if there's any delay, I encourage you to reach out to any of the members on this board, and we will do whatever we can possible, because recognition is important, and the celebration is important to us as well. Thank you. Can I take a motion for a short recess? I see Kim's hands on the verge of breaking. All in favor? Aye. We will stand in a short recess for 10 minutes. Can I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Freeholder Sullivan.
Good evening. I just wanted to address the crowd this evening. Mr. Brennan did bring up the point that I am a union leader, and I am a union leader. And layoffs are not something that, well, what's going on now is a tough thing that's going on. But I will tell you as a union leader that the word that's been thrown around is union busting. And I will tell you from the bottom of my heart, I've been a union electrician for 32 years. My father was a union electrician. My wife is a teacher. I have union roots way back to the beginning of time. And if I thought for 1 minute that there was union busting going on, I don't care who's up here. I would be the first one to stand up. Now, we all know that there's litigation, and the attorney has talked to us about not saying too much. I would hope that I don't know what the litigation entails with the two sides getting together, but I hope there is a solution as a union member, and that's just what I wanted to tell everyone. I will stand up for what's right, if it has to come to whatever it has to come to. I just tell you that I don't believe that's what's going on. That's my opinion. You all have your opinion. I wanted you to hear my opinion. I am not here to placate you. I'm here to tell you how I feel, and if the litigation allows the two sides to come together, then so be it. Thank you.
Thank you. Now can I take a motion for recess? All in favor? Aye. We stand
Now we know what
recess for
the
10
IBEW
minutes.
stands for.
All in favor? Will the clerk please read the resolutions that are on the consent agenda this evening?
375-17 to 412-17.
May I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Can I have a roll call, please, on the agenda?
Freeholder Amoroso?
Yes.
Freeholder Gantz? Freeholder Ortiz? Yes. Freeholder Sullivan?
Yes.
Freeholder Tinelli?
Yes.
Freeholder Voss? Yes. Chairwoman Zerb?
Yes.
7 ayes.
Are there any resolutions of non-consent pulled, postponed, or tabled? And if so, will the clerk please read them?
There are no resolutions of non-consent pulled, postponed, or tabled.
We'll now go on to our ordinances for second reading and adoption. Will the clerk please read ordinance 17-02 by title only?
1702 is a bond ordinance amending the bond ordinances described in section 1 herein, all to provide a $25 million supplemental appropriation for the project authorized in section 3, parentheses A, parentheses 1, parentheses III of bond ordinance 12-35, finally adopted on December 5th, 2012. The proof of publication of the ordinance notice of public hearing was published in accordance with the law and is on file in my office. A copy of the notice of hearing and ordinance number 1702 was duly posted pursuant to NJSA 40A:2-17 on Friday, February 21st, 2017.
May I have a motion to open the meeting to the public for the purpose to be heard on the bond ordinance only? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? We now stand open to the public to be heard on the bond ordinance. There will be a 5-minute time limit in effect. The board attorney will keep the time. Is there anybody who wishes to be heard on ordinance 17-02? Seeing none, can I have a motion to close the meeting to the public?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Is there any board discussion on ordinance 17-2? Then may I please take a motion to adopt ordinance 17-2?
Second.
All in favor, roll call please.
Freeholder Omarosa?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans?
Aye.
Freeholder Ortiz?
Yes.
Freeholder Sullivan?
Yes.
Freeholder Tonelli?
Yes.
Freeholder Voss? Chairwoman Zerk?
Yes.
Ordinance 1702 is adopted by 7 ayes.
Thank you. We now go on to our second ordinance for second reading and adoption, ordinance 17-4. Can the clerk please read ordinance 17-4 by title only?
Bond ordinance providing for Phase 2 of the Washington Avenue Corridor Safety Improvements Project, County Road 503, appropriating a $3,500,000 thereof, including a grant in the amount of $2,695,000 expected to be received from the North Jersey Transportation Planning Authority, and authorizing the issuance of $3,500,000 of bonds or notes of the county to finance part of the cost thereof. The proof of publication of ordinance notice of public hearing was published in accordance with the law and is on file in my office. A copy of the notice of hearing and ordinance number 1702 was duly posted pursuant to NJSA 40. I'm sorry, that was a copy of the notice of hearing ordinance 1704 was duly posted pursuant to NJSA 40A:2-17 on Friday, April 21st, 2017.
Is there a matter concerning ordinance 17-04 that council would like to put on the record as part of the public hearing?
Yes, Chairwoman, thank you. There was a typographical error in section 4, which required a minor amendment to the ordinance. The amendment was not substantial and did not require republication or a new first reading.
All right. Can I have a motion to open the meeting to the public to be heard on ordinance 17-04?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. The meeting now stands open to the public. There's a public hearing with a 5-minute time limit in effect. The board attorney will keep the time if anyone wishes to speak to ordinance 17-04. Seeing none, may I have a motion to close the meeting to the public?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Is there any board discussion on ordinance 17-04? Seeing none, can I have a motion to adopt ordinance 17-04?
Second.
All in favor? Can I have a roll call vote on that, please?
Freeholder Omarosa?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans?
Aye.
Freeholder Ortiz? Yes. Freeholder Sullivan?
Yes.
Freeholder Tonelli?
Yes.
Freeholder Voss?
Yes.
Chairwoman Zerk?
Yes.
7 ayes. Ordinance 1704 is adopted.
Can I have does anyone have a motion regarding committee reports?
Second.
All in favor of committee reports being postponed?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay. Committee reports are suspended for this evening. Yes, Freeholder.
Can I just make one comment? I just want to congratulate the 90-plus first responders that graduated fire school last night at the academy. I guess out of the 90-plus, at least 87 of them were volunteers. So I just want to thank all those volunteers in Bergen County to keep our homes and keep us safe in all the local municipalities. Thank you.
Yes, and also congratulations to our 23 new American citizens who were sworn in at Law Day on Monday.
Any other comments?
Yeah, Phil, I just want to recognize that today is Teacher Appreciation Day. And And I just want to say thank you to all the teachers out there at Bergen County Education Association and JEA. Thank you for doing a wonderful job with our children. It's truly appreciated. Thank you.
And I just want to say what a wonderful care fair we had on the 23rd. I know we're going to be having more in the future, and more people will know about all the services that are available in Bergen County.
Chairman, I just want to say this is Captain Jim Appreciation Day.
Every day, Freeholder. I want to just take one moment and thank all of you who came this evening and shared with us your thoughts. The whole purpose of a public meeting is to hear from the public. And we appreciate your service. We appreciate what you do every single day for the residents of Bergen County. And we appreciate you taking the time to communicate with us on this issue this evening, on whatever issue it was that you were here to talk to us about. We heard on a lot of issues tonight. We really do value you and value your opinions. That being said, can I take a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting stands adjourned.